God will never let you down. People will. We still have to trust people to see God's will done in our life. And this is the rub. We still have to trust people. We don't have to trust everybody. We've got to trust somebody. Because God has created us to be dependent to some level on one another. He's not called anybody to do it by themselves. And so when we're not trusting anybody, we don't have to trust everybody. But if you don't trust anybody, you have some trust issues. And guess what? It's also an issue you have with God because you're not trusting him to protect you. What we talked about last week, God is our protector. And so God's never going to let you down. But trust is tricky. There's an old Italian proverb. It says, it's good to trust. It's better not to. But that's no way to live. It's no way to live. Listen, trust is given. Trust is earned. Trust is broken. And trust has to be restored. And sometimes it can't be. In order to live a healthy life, we need to be able to trust ourselves. That's what the problem is with many Christians that I see. You don't trust yourself. You second guess yourself because you made a bad decision in the past, and now you're not sure if you're really hearing from God. Now you're not sure if you've got the wisdom that's required. But we must learn to trust ourselves and have counsel. We talked about that last week too. We've also got to learn to trust other people. We've got to learn that. We've got to keep taking some level of risk. Listen, I could not do ministry if I didn't trust people. I could not build a church if I didn't trust people. Am I supposed to sing the songs, sweep the floors, do the greeting, prepare the message? I've got to trust some people to do these things, right? Have people messed me over more times than I want to talk about. But I have to keep on trusting, or I might as well just shut down the church because I cannot do it by myself. Does that make sense? If you're going to fulfill the will of God for your life, you're going to have to learn how to trust people. You're going to have to deal with these trust issues. Trust is critical in every kind of relationship. In fact, it's a foundation for solid relationships. You cannot have a successful relationship without trust. You can't. Even in business, church, personal life. So you're capable of more when you can trust. When I was the editor of Charisma magazine, there was the editorial staff, there was the production staff, the circulation staff, the graphic design staff, the marketing staff. Then there was the people. I had all these different departments that I simultaneously had to manage and trust to do their part, or the magazine would not come out on time. If I did not trust them to do their part, I would replace them. If there was an employee that could not continually get their job done, I would have to replace them because the alternative was micromanaging them. And if you know people who micromanage, it's because they don't trust that someone's going to do it right. So at some time, you have to let them make the mistake, or you have to replace them because you can't do everything yourself. So you can do more. You get more accomplished in life when you trust people, capable of more. Without trust, relationships fall apart. You can love deeply, but if you don't trust, trust is like the foundation of love. Without trust, you walk in a lonely place. There's nobody to share your joys and sorrows with. When something really great happens, don't you want to share it? Don't you want to share with people? But if you don't have anybody you can trust, well, then you're like celebrating alone. When something bad happens, don't you want someone that you can call that can, I know we can talk to God. I get that. I know that we need to cry out to him. But isn't it nice sometimes to have an actual person to talk to? But if you don't trust anybody to tell some things that are going on in your life because they're going to judge you because everybody else judged you, and you're dealing with these trust issues, then you're going to suffer alone when you don't have to. Without trust, we struggle with the issues in life that we just can't solve alone. James 5:16, confess your faults one to another that you may be healed. So if someone's struggling with pornography, well, chances are they're going to need an actual flesh and blood support system. They're going to need a pastor, a counselor, maybe a men's group to deal with those kinds of issues. So if you're not willing to confess your faults because you don't trust anybody, you might not find total freedom, or it might take you a long time to walk that out by yourself when it could have been hastened and accelerated by your confession and people actually praying for you because prayer works. Amen? They say to trust is human and to forgive is divine. And that's because if you trust, you're going to have to learn how to forgive. People are going to mess up. God never messes up. Jesus is perfect. Somebody say, Jesus is perfect. Shabbat.